Greetings, Insomniacs. This is the 3 a.m. podcast with Nick Rios. And tonight, I'm lucky to be speaking with Austin funny man Francisco Garcia. Let's check out this quick clip of Francisco.
Now I got more modern problems with my dad's name. Like, both of us have the same name, so we're both on my mother's contact list in her cell phone right next to each other. And my parents are tech savvy, so that means that I get the occasional accidental sext from my mother. Right? That's nasty. Like, how do I respond to a boob pic from my mom? I can't tell her, listen, Mom, you gotta cut it out. Your tits are taking up my data plan. Right? I can't show my mother a dick pic. She's seen it since I was a toddler, and she is not impressed.
Francisco, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
So I wanted to start us off with something extra literal and ask you, what is the definition of funny?
I don't know. Sometimes I think the definition of funny is subjective, you know? I mean, we all have our own experiences in life, and I think those experiences influence our humor, or, you know, sort of depend on whether or not we have a sense of humor.
True.
Just sort of, I mean, there's a general kind of comedy, like there's slapstick comedy, and there's vulgar funny, you know, and there's
well, I guess
political funny and all this, you know.
There's sort of a distinction between funny and comedy as well, in the sense that funny is really subjective, like you're saying, and comedy is an industry, a commodity.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're up on stage, you know, you're trying to be funny, you're trying to sell your sense of humor to these people to buy your tickets and stuff, right? Because you're a funny person, and you present yourself that way. When you said funny versus comedy, in my head for a second I kind of thought, like, well, you know, comedy can be scripted, right? You can sit at a table with yourself or with others and work on something, develop a script or a skit or something, or a bit, and, you know, try to write it so that it sounds funny, that there's a setup and a punchline and all that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, formula.
Yeah, so I think there's a formula to comedy, but funny can just be, this randomly happened to me today, and it was funny, right? Or I had this thought because XYZ happened, and, you know, it's funny. That's why I think everybody who says, oh, you know, my friends all say I'm funny and that I should do stand-up or whatever, it's like, well, yeah, you're funny in that moment, but, you know, if you know anything about comedy and that sort of formula, which I think everyone's formula may be a little different, you know, but I mean, look at, you know, Bill. I hate this reference that it just came out, but Bill Cosby versus Richard Pryor. You know, comedy's comedy, and they have their own little formula. You know, it's basically clean versus not so clean, but I mean, even still, Bill Cosby.
In both cases, though, there's the the art of delivery. You know, the pacing. You know, it seems you can say anything as long as you say it right. The spectrum is so wide, and you can turn commentary into comedy.
Yeah, from being just funny in the moment, right, to being something that's comedic, and then you can, who knows if you can recreate it. Sometimes you can, sometimes it was just that, you know, like improv comedy, right, where something just, it just happened, and then you can recreate it, maybe you can't, I don't know.
That is true.
What's that thing that I had this old manager once who said something like, he used to say meat and potatoes, and I thought, oh, okay, you know, but he just kind of taught me that you just sort of whittle it down, man, and to get to the meat of things. Just with comedy, sometimes you have to, less is more, man. Not like this conversation I'm having right now, but
that's probably true. It's true in this conversation too. Did you ever listen to Adam Sandler tapes or the Jerky Boys way back when you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to listen to the Adam Sandler tapes a lot. You know, like They're All Gonna Laugh at You, I think was a big one for me in high school.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, those were pretty funny. I mean, I still listen to old Richard Pryor or whatever. I mean, that's what I grew up listening to with my dad. So it's kind of weird. But I used to listen to George Carlin and Richard Pryor and Cheech and Chong albums. You know, my dad never really liked that Adam Sandler stuff, but he did like the Happy Gilmore movies and the Waterboy movie. Like he likes to laugh. So.
How about here's another comparison. Eddie Murphy or Kevin Hart?
Eddie Murphy, man.
I think it's really a silly question. That's like comparing Shakespeare to the Hardy Boys or something.
Yeah, I would have gone with Shakespeare to like Babysitter's Club, you know.
Hmm.
But it's Kevin Hart, so.
Were you a fan of Louis at all? Did you keep up with that series?
I didn't, but I did catch a few episodes, and I definitely liked what I saw. It's nice to see. I think Charles Grodin made an appearance. I think I'm not sure, but if it was him, it was nice to see him.
He does. He has a reoccurring character as the doctor, I believe, that lives downstairs.
Okay, yeah,
from
the
Louis.
guy that lives in his apartment. Yeah.
And Louis always just coming up to him for medical and life advice.
Yeah, yeah. I used to watch, just like I think like sometime mid '90s or early '90s movies. Charles Grodin was and stuff. Him and Martin Short.
Definitely. Yeah, nobody's really taken his place. You don't have a straight man like Charles Grodin out there today that I can think of off the top of my head anyway.
I mean, Harrison Ford can do a good job, but I mean, it's just like it's Harrison Ford. I don't know, but yeah, Charles Grodin had that deadpan look. That was just really nice. You know who I might put in there? Nick Offerman. I would say that Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec. He plays Ron Swanson.
Sure.
He can pull off that look pretty awesomely.
I agree. He is pretty funny. I think I got a little bit of Nick Offerman overdose from his American Ham Netflix special.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, nobody can do it like Grodin.
Actually, it enhances my sex life quite a bit. I've been into bondage and S&M for about 12 years now. That's good. But I know everybody's all about 50 Shades of Grey and all that, and I'm sorry, that's a joke. Compared to the stuff I do, you people are 50 Shades of Earl Grey. Nobody drinks tea. Get that shit out of here.
The fetish and bondage material is a pretty big part of your act. How big a part of your actual life is it?
There's definitely some truth to a little bit of that, I mean, I don't want to go too far into my personal life, but yeah, I mean,
Well, we're going to get real personal, so... Well, let me ask you this. Do you have any advice for a newbie couple that might be trying to break into S&M?
Push yourself, probably. Just be comfortable. I think that's the most important thing, is be comfortable.
Okay, I think I got you. How about specifically toys? What do you recommend?
I mean, I think, yeah, that's... I think you learn that about yourself. Like, go to a website, like... some kinky website, man, and hell, even Amazon. I've got some of my favorite toys from Amazon, but just go and check out the products, and you might say, hey, that looks like a cool leg spreader, right? Or that looks like I could use those bed straps, and maybe I want that riding crop, or or that's a cool mask, or I want an all vinyl bodysuit or something, or all leather bodysuit.
We've got Dreamers, which looks pretty friendly and approachable. Well, this way you can go and you can hold the product and decide how you feel about it, and if it's something you guys want to bring home with you or not. We've got that AAA News, which also has a great selection of magazines, so if you like magazines and dildos.
Yeah. There's a few here that I think are doable. Like I said, I get most of my stuff online, but there used to be a place called Sensations. I used to get stuff there here in Austin off of South First, but I think they're closed now.
Let's try a game of hypotheticals. Would you rather jacuzzi sex in a posh hotel room with the beautiful Neve Campbell, or camping by a lake with Deborah Ann Wall, who is equally beautiful, the redhead from True Blood, in Texas in April?
I've never seen True Blood, but I do like redheads, and I have camped in Texas in April in a tent, so I'm totally fine with all that.
Wow. So everything else, all the other factors just kind of go out the window. The hotel suite, the bathtub, you're just the redhead, though. Sight unseen, you're down with that.
Well, I mean, that and, like I said, I've camped in Texas in April, so that doesn't, to me, sometimes that actually is better than a hotel. I mean, hotels are in sheets that other people have slept in, and who knows what the hell else is done in that room, and I gotta pay for that stuff.
All right, man, get ready to have your mind blown. Would you rather be able to time travel into the future or the past as far as you want, but you're going to continue to age the same and be mortal, so you could die at any time? Or you could just time travel between your life so far, but you could live forever and control your own age?
No, I'd still go with the first. All things die, man. And I like just my life. I mean, that's no fun. I want to be able to time travel, go back and forth, and see everything. Like, why? Just my life? Nah. I know I've been through that, especially if it's up to this point. Like, I don't want to go back.
Well, you don't necessarily have to live your life. I mean, it's still, you have access to the whole planet Earth, for the last 30 odd years.
And I still like the idea of an expiration date, because then otherwise you're stuck with everyone else around you dying, and you got to watch that.
Well, I hear you.
You're the one person with this whatever, but
yeah, I see your point. On the other hand, the other one would be interesting in a different way.
Yeah, I like the idea of an expiration date. Like sometimes you're just ready to check out.
And you don't even want to know when it's coming. You might get hit by a bus while you're hanging out in 4th century England, and
yeah,
and you'll be like, "What? A bus?"
I think I think I'd go with that first one for sure.
What was your first experience getting up on stage?
You're talking comedy-wise or just stage in general?
First time in a comedic capacity.
It was in 2012, I believe. I think it might have been like January, February of 2012, and I was at Cold Town Theater. I went the previous week to go see the Monday night open mic that was then hosted by the ever awesome Maggie May. So she wasn't there the weekend that I actually performed. She was out of town, but she was there the week prior when I went to go see what it was all about. And so yeah, I think they do like 4 minutes there, and so yeah, I went and did it. And I remember I was wearing like a Dead Kennedy shirt and the sweater, and there was some couple there or some kids or whatever. I don't know, they must have been UT film students or something, because they had a camera and they were recording somebody. I don't know if they were recording the whole set or the whole show or random people. I don't know exactly. I wasn't told. I just saw people with a camera and they were. So I mean, it could have been anybody, but I just remember that they were telling Maggie that they're with UT. So who knows? Maybe my first set ever is on some student film.
Well, that is pretty awesome, dude. It sounds like you got the opportunity 1 week, pulled your act together, and went up there and knocked it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is to always have fun when you do it. If you're not having fun, why bother, So, I mean, I have fun, and of course you want that crowd to laugh. That's the other point. You want them to have fun too,
For sure. I mean, it's is it a rush when you go up there? Is it an adrenaline rush?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, open mics are a little different. I mean, I don't know. I feel sometimes I feel like I'm more of an open mic comic than anything else. I've done showcases in town and contests and whatever, and when it's like an actual big crowd, not just comics, but like a big crowd of people, that's a good feeling. Whether it's like a small comedy club like Velveeta, where like maybe you can have, I don't know exactly how many people are capacity there, like 100 or something, but even a crowd of like 20 people, man. If you're in a room of 20 people who aren't comics and they're paying attention and laughing, that's a good feeling. Of course, it's gonna be a rush, So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And sometimes it's a rush when it sucks, and maybe you're not bombing, but there's nobody there, or so, or maybe you are bombing. I mean, either way, like I said, the point is to have fun. So.
Yeah, I imagine when you come off that stage, you're still feeling pretty great.
I mean, yeah, if you're not drunk or anything, Yeah, I mean, especially if I think if you have a good or bad set, whatever that emotion's gonna bring, or whatever emotion that brings, yeah, it'll linger for a little bit, I suppose. The longest I ever did was like a half an hour. I think I did a half hour for a friend who had this gig at a private party, and she paid me $2 a minute, I think. Joy Lynn was her name, and we had a blast. So, that feeling is good too, just as much as, oh shit, there was like 3 people there and 4 comics and, the bartender, and this is a bar and grill show, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, so up next, Frank and I attempted to play Cards Against Humanity with 2 people, which we learned is kind of a challenge, but we gave it a shot anyway. Check it out. All right, Francisco Garcia, here we go, round 1. And we're going to try these out and see if we agree on them.
Okay.
My gym teacher got fired for adding blank to the obstacle course. Okay, I got mine that I would play, were it me.
Yeah, I guess I got mine.
All right. I picked pooping back and forth forever.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know if that even works with the sentence, but I picked jobs.
My gym teacher got fired for adding jobs to the obstacle course.
Yeah.
See, I think that one kind of hits funny.
Yeah, I like it. I think, like, it is an obstacle to try and get a job, I mean, it's a lot of work. And sometimes your job is the obstacle. Like,
well,
you need to go, do XYZ, run an errand, and you can't do it because you're working that day, So jobs are in itself an obstacle.
Gotcha. See, for this game, I think you got to go more base all the time, like base humanity.
But I really, what got me with that is the sentence isn't structurally sound, so that doesn't, it immediately doesn't, my brain doesn't work that way.
No, I hear it. It sounds reasonable. All right. Okay. Round 2. James is a lonely boy, but when he discovers a secret door in his attic, he meets a magical new friend, blank. Tough one here. How about you? How are you feeling about these cards?
I think I have 2, yeah.
Well, my first pick was every man's ultimate fantasy, a perfectly cylindrical vagina, which I don't know why that's a fantasy. I mean, our vagina's not cylindrical enough or something, but... All right, I'm putting forth cylindrical vagina. How about you? What's your top one?
I like that one. I was also either going to go with that or a mime having a stroke.
Boom. We're in total sync here then. Mime violence always works on some level for some reason. There's probably a horrible backstory to it. All right, let's try one last one because it's a 2-parter here. See if it's any good. In a pinch, blank can be a suitable substitute for blank.
Yeah, I think I might have 1 or 2.
All right, go for it.
The one I really wanted was in a pinch, the Pope can be a suitable substitute for meaningless sex.
That's pretty close to mine. I went with Bubble Butt Bottom Boys instead of the Pope, though.
Yeah. I think that was the other one I was going to have. I was also going to try in a pinch, meaningless sex can be a suitable substitute for ominous background music.
Yeah, that sounds pretty great. What about in a pinch, unsheathing my massive horsecock can be a suitable substitution for taking 2d6 emotional damage?
I would have gone with in a pinch, unsheathing my massive horsecock can be a suitable substitute for creamy slices of real California avocado.
Oh, I like that, yeah. That's kind of festive, especially if you happen to be eating avocado at the time.
On a horse, yes.
You could kind of bring it all back around. We don't do that often enough. Eat anything on horses anymore.
Nope.
What is the world coming to? All right, dude. I know it's a little cheesy, but would you send us off on a joke?
Yeah, a lot of them can be stories. I think I had one like, I'm trying to remember that one about, it's been a while since I've said it, but yeah, group sex is a lot like Special Olympics. Doesn't matter who comes first, you're just happy to be there.
Vintage Francisco. All right, Frank. Man, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it, and it was great chatting with you.
Yeah, dude. I like chatting.
All right, we've had Francisco Garcia on the show with us this evening.
There's only 3. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
This has been Nick Rios with the 3 a.m. podcast. Thanks for listening, and have a great morning.